Hello, Ryan here, aka Mac, and welcome. So today we're going to take a look at the monthly report for March. Kicking off with the LA team. For vehicles, they made some vehicle-related performance improvements. They've also made further progress on the scanning feature. Art have made advances on the Anvil Hurricane and the updated Mustang. For gameplay, they are developing a more advanced tech for the character customizer to help realise the rich vision CIG has for this feature. Improvements to missiles and countermeasures and improvements to the cargo-related issues was addressed amongst other bug fixes. Narrative have turned their attention to Hurston and the Lorville landing zone. They're setting up a plant and flora page to catalogue all the different space plant varieties and the placement and much more. They've also revamped the system for generic NPCs to breathe a bit more life into locations. They've created a document outlining the Jan and their habitation spaces and wrote numerous descriptions of various weapons and special weapon skins. The character team is close to finalising the Legacy Outlaw and Marine armours. They're also continuing to develop the Hurston and Olisar clothing collections. Lots of work has been done on characters, outfits and weapons for Squadron 42, including out the various alien species. Moving on to Austin for the design. The economic status of all servers will now pull information from a single source rather than each having individual server sources. This was always the intention, they say, and it fixes a few commodity exploits. Basically, the outposts are the main producers and the stations are the main consumers, and this is obviously a step in the right direction to the final game. For art, the Constellation Phoenix continues through the high poly modelling phase. The current focus is on the aquarium and other corners of the interior. The F8 Lightning currently is in the high poly phase, applying the decals and the final geo tweaks. For animation, the team is focused on finishing 2 mission givers, which is Luca Brunt and Wallace Kim. They've also started on a third called Recco Balagier. These will all be spread out throughout the PU when they're ready. Operations have been doing a lot of performance and stability work for 3.1 and beyond. They're gathering lots of data from Ivacotti and us and ourselves to help show where the issues are arising, and then they can tackle them. So for Foundry 42 in Frankfurt, the environmental team is focused on Hurston. They're pushing the biomes further than what players have seen so far with the just current movements we have. They're also wrapping up the white box stage for the Lorville landing zone, which is the main landing zone on Hurston. They're preparing to start full production to bring the city to its next stage, which is very exciting. I cannot wait to be walking around Lorville. The engine team continue to work on tools for tracking performance, like capturing performance if the frames drop below 30 FPS. They then analyse the captures and optimise the code or the content and the level setup if necessary. They've also continued work on the telemetry system, seeing what actions cause performance slowdowns to what we're doing, what is causing the biggest slowdowns. This allows them to tweak the game and improve the overall player experience. They did do a lot more optimising in areas like planets, characters, computation speeds, and so on and so forth. Lots more as well. For Tech Art, they've created a new tool called the CIG Exfer. This speeds up the art update process to help artists be more self-sufficient. They've completed the previs rig for the Castak armed scalpel sniper rifle, worked on the runtime physics simulation for the handle of the combat knife as well, and they've done some R&D and implementation into tools required for the next step into the character customizer. Their primary focus for this is on consolidating hundreds of heads and head attachments like hair, beards and helmets, and how they're all going to fit together. Hopefully we'll see my head amongst some of those. In level design, the team has built out several locations for Lorville. This is to be the testbed for numerous systems like security, smuggling, transit, air traffic control and hangars. They need the common elements for these, which are also being looked into, so the security office, the customs office, the train stations and the spaceports all needed to make these systems work. For the transit, there needs to be a transitional spaces, there needs to be arrival areas and terminals to make it all feel believable. It is going to be something I will love to do, is just sitting on a little tram or a monorail and travelling around the city. That'll be a lot of fun, especially for a stream. They've also continued work on procedural tools for generating interior spaces. It's essential for creating interiors for areas like rest stops, refineries, cargo depots, so on and so forth. With the Vandal Kingship Bridge almost finished, the cinematics can do their first camera pass on the cinematic Vandal character sequences required for Squadron 42. This coincides with the push for the Vandal in all departments. The current work is on the Vandal face rig, their costumes, key poses, silhouettes and Vandal weaponry. Lighting have helped polish and tweak Crusaders' moons, the Mobiglass PMA and VMA, so the Personal Manager app and the Vehicle Manager app, Character Customizer and general optimizations. Visual effects have helped improve tools like the one to create volumetric effects like the one we can see here. They're also fleshing out the Vandal textile. Weapon teams have finished their first pass on the Castak Arms Scalpel Rifle and completed the subscriber flare skins for a few weapons. We've just received one for the Gemini pistol. No, was it the Gemini? I can't remember now. The LH86, I believe it was. System design moved forward with the mining system. The first goal is for planet and moon mining, which means that the Prospector will be fully operational first, and then they're moving on to additional mining types after that one. Mining is still being prototyped, they say, but the current results are very promising from a gameplay and visual perspective. Currently, they're able to shatter mineable rocks. Now they're working on the harvesting functionality to transfer the resources of smaller pieces into the Prospector's mining containers. Once complete, they will integrate mining with other systems like the radar and scanning, which is used to help find mineable deposits and then analyze their contents. Very excited to get my hands on mining. That's going to be something I think 3.2 will have a little more spice to. They've progressed on AI FPS combat. The lower cover and high cover is now implemented. They're moving on to complex areas like flanking. They're also looking into ways to make alien combat feel different from human combat, making it so that we feel it feels different compared to fighting against human beings. The ship AI is being built to allow players to choose how to train and specialize their hired NPCs. The FPS AI will also use the same system, so when we hire an AI or an NPC character, we can train them and decide which sort of path they take. They're also infusing the Lorville location with more life to grant the AI more interesting storytelling abilities, and the hope is for players to experience what the lives of the population are like in that location, maybe sympathizing with them or even taking sides if there's an argument in some areas. They're also working on a tool to connect systems in locations together with as little input from the team as possible, so connecting the room system, the oxygen, the gravity, the security, the AI, everything, putting it together so that means the team can spend more time generating new content much faster rather than having to put them together. Finally, for Turbulent, the Spectrum version 3.7.4 was released to the PTU, including the custom roles, emojis, and the user block list. As a result, they have created a list of improvements which will hopefully come to the live server soon. Anyway, that was the monthly report. Obviously, the UK studio had their update on the Star Citizen Sunday last Sunday. Let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Talking about Lorville and mining is what's got me hyped. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, follow me on Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, and I shall see you next time.